What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Expert Bike Giveaway Series with our lovable, fast, crazy R1 here. Today we are doing a bit of an unholy thing. We are ripping off the Leo Vinci exhaust and slapping on an Aero exhaust just to see how it sounds, just to see if it goes any different. Spoiler alert, I don't think it will.
No, they're about the same.
Yeah, but you guys wanted to see a different exhaust on the R1, so we figured we'd do it. We're also installing these Light-Tech chain adjusters so that we don't have to do the lock nuts anymore, and it can just twist and it will adjust. So let's get into it. So big shout out to motivationusa.com. They provided us with a lot of parts for our giveaway R1. They actually sent us over this Aero exhaust, these Light-Tech chain adjusters, and a bunch of other goodies on this motorcycle. So hit the link down below if you've got parts that you need for your Ducati, your R1s, any high-end super bikes, high-end bikes. They got all what you need right there, so click that down below. And of course, if you want to win this R1, we are giving it away, go to yammienoob.co and check out how to get started to win. You can also go to yammienoobmerch.com. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win this motorcycle as well. We were giving it away on September 15th, so time is running out, but you do have time to get entered, so be sure to check that out. Spite, talk a little bit about why you think the exhaust is not really going to make a big difference.
Right, so the Aero exhaust, while it does look very different from the Leo Vinci, it looks a lot bigger, actually has about as much sound deadening in here. Okay, so you see here we have a resonator can and then we have the main muffler right here. And that adds up to about as much muffling as this has. Our link pipe right here, which, side note, is the lightest link pipe I think I've ever held, has no baffling in it whatsoever, so it's basically a straight pipe. And that just leaves everything in the can. What this does have over the Leo Vinci is a removable baffle right there.
But since I have experience with Aero exhaust on my desert sled, leads me to believe that it's probably not a good idea to take that baffle out.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is just going to be kind of next level noisy.
Which is really saying something because it's already pretty loud with this pipe.
Yeah, I would say right now it's on the upper limit of where I'd want on the street.
Me too.
And so maybe if this just tones it down just a smidge, provides a little bit more back pressure so that we don't have all of the crazy pops and crackles. I know you love them so much, but
I don't know if I do. I mean, I kind of like them,
yeah.
To me, I don't love the super downshifty poppy stuff because it tells me the engine's not tuned correctly, honestly.
Yeah, so a little bit of back pressure is always a good thing. So hopefully that's what this baffle will provide us. Obviously, we'll give you guys a sound clip with and without the baffle in.
Yeah, so just so you guys hear, this is a sound clip with the Leo Vinci exhaust. You know what we're working with. We already did that video recently, so we'll put that up. And then we also have this piece right here. There's a Light-Tech chain adjuster. So you don't really need one of these, but Motivation sent us over anyways. And it's just a nice little kind of piece of bling, and it just makes adjusting your chain a little bit quicker. And it looks really cool. This is really nice, like one piece, like, I don't know, cut from aluminum looking type of thing.
Yeah, it's a billet aluminum piece.
Yeah.
I like the red matching with the color of the bike.
Yeah.
It'll definitely make the swing arm look a little bit shinier.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the swing arm looks great, but it's just a plain black piece, so you know, it would be nice to have a little color there.
Yeah, well, let's get into it and let's install this exhaust, and then we're gonna take it on the road and see how it sounds.
Okay, so first thing we gotta do is get the old Leo Vinci exhaust off there. I say old, it's been on there for like 2 weeks, so obviously we need to replace it. It's only good for one track day. So let's dive in and get that old pipe off there.
Alrighty, Spite, we're sitting here comparing and contrasting these two link pipes, and they actually are kind of different, you know?
Yeah, the more I spend time looking at them, there's a lot of differences between them.
Yeah.
Why don't we start on this end here? We have, from the factory, these little block-off bolts here that block off the O2 sensors, assuming that you delete them for a wideband O2 sensor. These are two narrowband ones here.
That's an option you do not get on the Leo.
Yes, so we're stuck with the stock O2 sensor. Another thing that I notice here is we do have a crossover tube that allows blow-by gases to cross and I guess allow a little bit of equalization across the pipes, which is always nice.
Now, I'm noticing as well in the weld, we're seeing that bluing and all that. That leads me to believe that that's titanium, right?
I do believe this is titanium, yeah. Just by holding it, how much lighter it is, it doesn't feel like stainless steel.
Let me feel that versus this.
It's way lighter.
Wow!
Yeah, it's way lighter.
Holy crap. This is like nothing. This has to be titanium.
It's gotta be.
Whew, that's spicy.
It is, and it looks great too. Another thing that I noticed that's a little bit more subtle is the stepping in the pipes. So right here we go from a narrow one to a much wider one that has an even greater diameter at this end.
Yep. So
we're flowing a lot more gas out of that pipe.
Yeah. I'm just noticing as well, I'm trying to look at the welds and all that. This looks cleaner, but I think it's just because this is titanium and it has all this discoloration and all that. Both are handmade, if I'm not mistaken. So. And
the quality, if you're wondering which is like of a better quality, they're both about the same. I would say. Just holding them, it doesn't feel like one is made significantly better than another.
I think the only big difference is, like we said, weight. Where this easily weighs, I think, at least 2 pounds more than this.
Which comes down to the material it's made out of and the resonator can that this does not have.
So no resonator on this one, which that one has a resonator right there. The block off. So I mean, you can tell like this is a bit of a higher quality pipe, I would say. Yeah. Man, I can't believe how light it is.
It's very light. So we got the link pipe on here now, and it was really very simple to put on. And what I love about it is just how clean it all looks. And you know, Arrow is a premium part. You're gonna spend a lot of money. And for that money, you'd hope to get some very nice stuff, and that's exactly what you have in the box. This link pipe is very nice, it's very light. All of the parts just, there's no like, having to move stuff around, and there's no approximate fits. It all just slides right in, butter smooth.
Yeah. I was actually really impressed at how quickly and easily we can just mate everything up. There's no fiddling with it. There's no questioning where things go or this and that. And it's the little things they provide too, right? Like they gave us a spring tool, right? Like I've never seen that before from an exhaust company where it's like, oh, don't worry about having a mechanic's pick. We have you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And they also give you a little, what is this? Metal lubricant, right? Which we think is like an instant gasket you can put on the ends here. So it's just, it's the little touches, you know, it's the little things. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna be mounting up the muffler on here, and this system is a little bit different than the Leo we had. You can tell it's a little bit bigger, so it's gonna slide right over here just like this, and then we are gonna have to mount up a hanger system that's gonna go up here and probably all the way up to the foot peg. So it's a little bit different than the little shorty pipe we had on the Leo. So you'll likely see this on many different exhaust setups. Sometimes it's the shorty pipe, sometimes it's the long pipe. Really, it's just up to personal preference. It doesn't make a huge difference. So let's do it. Alrighty guys, bit of a weird angle, but the bike is down, so I gotta do what I gotta do. We've installed the Lightech chain adjusters. These are really cool because now you have markers right here so you can set the chain slack, and you make sure that you don't have the axle out of alignment. You can get it really laser precise with these, which is really cool. But right now, we need to adjust for chain slack because that's not correct. So let's do that really quick. Alrighty everybody, we're out here on the bikes now, just flexing on y'all with that limited edition Moto2 Daytona and a giveaway R1 over here. Because you know what, we do big things over here, Yammie Noob. You know what I'm saying? Do big old things. So
and it's not like we're gonna leave the Daytona just sitting in the shop, right?
Oh, no way. Chris gave me this bike over from Eurocycle Center, and he said that I could do whatever I want with it, and I will. I will do whatever I want with it. All the time. So this R1, we are now testing it, quote-unquote testing it with the exhaust, kind of seeing if it's working okay, sounding okay. Because we have a rapid bike tuner on it, it slowly has to learn this new pipe, and you just rode it out here and you're saying it's feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah, it feels fine. It helps that we had an exhaust on there already, so it's not like going from the stock map.
Yeah.
And this is actually closer to the SC Project than our Leo was.
Yep.
So the throttle feels actually pretty good right out of the box. So
cool. Let's get it started and rolling, man. It's hot.
Yep.
Dude, that R1 looks so good going down the road.
It feels good, you know?
Oh, man, just looking at it, God, good bike.
Like, just knowing that you're on the R1 the R1.
And that sound is unmistakable. You know it as soon as you take off. You're like, oh yeah, crossplane, baby.
I forgot
Meanwhile, I'm just looking down here at the dash. Got these Olins, got all this carbon fiber. It's reminding me that it's a limited edition, so I know I'm better than everybody.
I forgot how just buttery smooth this bike feels. It's the first time that you and I have been on like just proper super sports together.
Yeah, usually it's like one super sport and one Busa or something like that.
You can see that carbon fiber from a mile away.
Yeah, if you like know anything about motorsports and you see this bike, you're like, holy shit, that thing is all carbon fiber.
Yep.
It's so sick. It also makes me like very nervous to do anything with it. Like I just don't want anything to happen to it or to touch it, you know? So while you're talking, you're like, oh, would you want to swap it for your race bike and do that? I was like, I would never race this thing. It is way too pretty.
Yeah, no, it's a work of art. So I am noticing plenty of pops and crackles from this pipe. I feel like we are running just a smidge lean, but I think the Rapid Bike will sort that out as we ride.
Yeah, because it's set on the auto learn mode right now, so it's probably slowly adjusting and seeing what it's doing and hopefully doing the job. It's a good test for the Rapid Bike, actually. I've never done that, to have a Rapid Bike on a bike and then swap the exhaust to see what it does. So the R1, I think, is a lot like the MT-07 and a couple other bikes, where it's one of those bikes where I think you owe it to yourself to put an exhaust on it. I think the experience of the R1 is incomplete without having an exhaust.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Like, it just changes it so much, and you just get all that crossplane goodness out of it, which is just, it's why you buy that bike.
Yeah, I mean, the crossplane is the reason to own an R1. And aside from it being, you know, Rossi's motorcycle, you know, it's based on the M1, but it's the main differentiating factor is that crossplane, and it's so good. It's so good. No matter where you are in the rev range, you know, at the bottom it sounds like a muscle car just loping away. At the top it just howls and screams.
And it's a truly incredible engine. It's just unbelievable.
Now, what I will say, having not ridden the bike with the Leo on it, this pipe sounds very livable.
Super manageable. Yeah, like you ripped by me and I heard you, but as soon as after you went by me, it was kind of, that was it. I didn't really hear much of you after that.
Yeah, it's not oppressive.
Yeah.
When you're sitting, it makes all the noise where you want it to make noise. When you're just sitting at a stoplight and you blip the throttle, because of course you have to, you can hear it. But then it's not so loud on the highway that, you know, you want to just tear your ears off.
Yeah. Since you're buying this Q7 here, it's a good time to get a nice little rolling shot of, you know, keep my eyes looking straight and point my helmet that way. Looking real nice.
Yeah. I mean, just especially with those little chain adjusters at the back on the swing arm.
Oh yeah, we love a Farkle. Look at that.
Just the little shiny bits and bobs in places where they weren't. It looks so nice.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the R1 is, honestly, it's a bike that I would pretty much modify my R1 almost exactly like that if I were to have like a street R1, you know?
Yeah. Although the idea of a street R1 is kind of laughable to me.
Very funny, yeah. I think I told you when I was on track with that bike this weekend, I was just using my ears and the gear positions and like my gear change spots like I would on the Daytona, and I forgot that each gear on that bike is about 20 miles per hour faster than on my Daytona. So I was like the top of second coming into a corner, and I'm like, I'm doing 110 miles per hour. I like braked so heavy, I had the front just like wiggling. I was like, okay, all right, cannot take the top of second there. Got to remember that bike has crazy long gears.
The gearing is just wickedly long, and it's really peculiar going from, you know, a normal motorcycle to something like this that has such tall gears, because you don't run it through you just don't use the gearbox. You don't need to. And that's the crazy thing about this bike, is it makes so much torque down low and so much power up top that no matter where you are in the gear, you're going to have fun.
Yep.
But again, this is just why it's so nice to have like a legitimately good street exhaust like this, because I'm not dying listening to it.
Yep.
You know,
And the other big thing is too, you know, for a lot of racetracks, especially all around the country as well, there actually are sound limits, and honestly, I don't even know if that Leo would pass some of those dB limits that they have at some racetracks.
Yeah, no, that thing was quite loud, and obviously that's to some people's tastes because it sounded great.
Yeah, it was cool.
You know, it sounded awesome. It was just too much sound. It was like my DRZ, where you know, the pipe was just too short and it didn't really have enough deadening in it. So I ended up slapping a longer pipe on it, and it was the same sound, just quieter.
Yep.
And I also like having a slightly quieter exhaust on a bike this sophisticated because it allows me to actually hear the engine, you know, do its thing. I like listening to the engine work.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you can hear the transmission wind and the pistons move.
Beautiful flick in from this 765. How does it feel going through some of those twisties?
Well, I am not this bike's intended rider. I know that just going, it's not my riding style. I find myself taking this bike a lot slower through corners just because I'm not super duper comfortable with the idea of having 200 horsepower, you know, right under my right hand.
Yeah.
I prefer a nice, more manageable number around about 100. That's where I feel like I can actually play with it and have fun. This bike is just a little too serious for my taste.
I think also, let's hang it right up here. I think also it's the case where, you know, like literally nowhere on the street does it actually have a place to roam. I mean, on these twisty country hill roads, like we can't open that thing up at all.
No. So, you know, I may be poodling through some of these corners at, you know, twice the speed limit on the corner, but if that's only 15 miles an hour, I'm doing 30, you know?
Yeah.
The bike feels really good, but it feels like you're going very, very, very slow.
Yeah. You know? No, it can literally only be used at a racetrack. Like, I literally think leader bikes are just weekend racetrack toys. You can ride them on the street, but I don't really see the point. But I think the R1 is just such an incredible machine, man. It's just that's my takeaway. Always when I ride it, I'm just like, it's just so amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The things that it can do are so far beyond my scope and really at this point my desire.
Yeah.
You know, I understand where my limits are, and I understand that this bike is just so far beyond them.
Just like normally this would be where we do our acceleration tests, but we're on bikes that are way too fast, so I say we skip it. That's too crazy.
Yeah, plus, I mean, not to downplay the
you would massacre this motorcycle, so there's no point.
Yeah.
You have 70 more horsepower than I do, something like that.
I mean, it's unbelievable how much get up and go this bike has. It's really unbelievable.
Yep. You know what's super funny is Brandon Altmaier, the Moto America guy that I know that I run ECR with, and we have our Ninja 400 endurance bike. He got to take a rip on the R1 when I was up at ECR this weekend, and it was so funny. Like, I had him mic'd up in the lap, and like lap 2 when he started really pushing, he's just like super calm, and he's like ripping through like turn 8, I think, and he just goes, "Man, these shouldn't be legal." So a pro racer is saying that about them. So all you tough guys on the internet who are saying that you need a big bad R1, come try to run against Brandon and see how you do. Dude, no kidding, when I take the R1 in the back of the Frontier and I stop at gas stations, every time I'm getting fuel, someone comes up and goes, "Dude, nice bike."
Yeah.
Every time. It does not happen with my race bike, probably because it's all beat up and has stickers of, you know, anime on it, but you know what, like, that's okay. My ego will survive. I would say, like, you get that sound, you get the red sport bike under 20 Gs. I mean, you know, you don't want to say it, but you're getting 95% of a Ducati without paying basically half the price.
Yeah, the only thing you're getting that you're not getting with this is the Ducati lettering and the Desmo valve service cost.
Yep, that is true.
Which you know all about that.
I'm going to know all about that in 420 miles on my desert sled. It's so fun. Anyways, I think the Arrow was a big success. The R1 is
Yeah.
so nasty, such a nice bike. And if you guys want to win it, go to YammieNoob.co. We'll see you on the next one.
So, I hate to break it to you, but this video is actually over. But if you hit this one right over here, you can keep watching your sweet Papa Yam doing some fun stuff. And if for nothing else, do it for Yammie-chan. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll just wait. It's okay. Take your time.